Hello.
You cheeky bastard.
I got you moving though.
Exactly. Sorry, I've kind of been distracted by Holly Willoughby in a leather skirt.
Oh.
No income tax, no VAT. Dave Boy Trotter. Oh. Right.
We'll now go on to the classic match.
No, well, no, because I'm desperate for a pee, so give me 2 minutes. That reminds me, by the way, when I was looking through our list of classic games, we've covered the game twice.
Aye, I know.
And the scary thing was I was about to cover it for the third time.
I've got a delivery coming today as well, so...
Is that some more patches for inflatable Ingrid?
Aye, it's overuse, man. You know what it's like. I'm married now, so I've got to do what I can.
It's your beard that's getting too prickly, mate. I tell you, didn't you have to kiss it? You know what I mean? Straight away, say moment go, I thought that Ryan Kent really did look in the mood.
Yep, moment go.
What?
You said moment go. That was a new one.
From the moment go?
From moment go. I don't know. I've never heard that before.
You're a weirdo, sweet you are. Yep, superb goal. Absolutely brilliant.
Goal?
Go.
You said goal.
Oh, sorry, I meant go.
Go, right. So you want to make that comment again?
Right, yes. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, say what you said again there then, we'll start from the beginning.
Right.
Oh my god, you should put STV on the now and see Holly with her leather skirt on, man. That's quality.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of the iReady podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek and with me is my co-host Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm very well, Derek. How are you, mate? Did you have a good birthday yesterday?
I did, up until round about 1945 when the football started.
or 9:30 the
yes.
night, you mean, when they give the football finished? Yes. Trust Rangers to ruin your birthday, eh?
Exactly. I don't know what to say about that one, but yes, we'll get into that as ever. But 4 games to cover. I suppose they're all not bad results. In fact, 3 of them were very good results in the last one.
Yes.
I think the Aberdeen game last night was not the fact that we drew, it was the way we drew.
Exactly, yes, yeah. Exactly, Derek, yep.
So, well, I suppose we just better batter on and go down the tunnel and onto the pitch.
Yes.
So, the first game we've got to cover is way back on Sunday the 24th of November. It was away to Hamilton where we won 3-1. Now, I watched the game back yesterday to get notes for the game because I was dealing with a sick child at the time, so I couldn't take notes when it was on. But the game wasn't as bad as what I thought it was.
No, it was a controlled performance, Derek. It wasn't a fantastic performance, but it was controlled. We were the better team and we deserved the victory at the end of the day. So I think a lot of people were expecting us to go out and win by about 6 or 7, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. Especially at away games, especially on that pitch as well. But I'm sure you're about to get into the game. Remind everybody what happened.
Yep. So we lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Kamara, Jack, Aribo, Kent, Defoe and Arfield. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Davis, Ojo, Flanagan, Katic, Morelos and Stewart. So really the first half, it was really the Hamilton keeper making a few good saves, and it was the Ryan Jack and Ryan Kent show, wasn't it?
Yes, it certainly was. The two of them were completely running the game in the first half, Derek.
We got the first goal on the 7th minute with Ryan Jack scoring. It was good play down the right, ball played to Tavernier who takes the ball forward, a lovely drop of the shoulder to beat the man, toe pokes the ball into the box, the defender nips in and toes the ball away, but it only fell to Jack who had a couple of touches and then hits a cracking shot to the left side past the keeper. Brilliant goal.
Yes, superb, and a fantastic start for us for there on, Derek. I mean, that's what we were really going for it. We got the early goal. We thought, we kind of got a better start than that, and it was superb. And again, I think we all thought, right, that's it, we'll go on, we'll get a few more, and then, players can get rested and stuff like that.
No, but as usual with Rangers, it never happens that way, does it? So in the 10th minute, Kent takes the ball forward from the halfway line, drives it forward, the space opens up, he hits a shot from around 23 yards, hits the outside of the left post and out for a goal kick. Great effort from Kent there.
Yeah, it certainly was, Derek. He had a goal there, really unlucky. And again, it just showed that he was, really up for this game. And, the last few games before that, we could see that his fitness was getting better and better. And, this is probably about the best game that he'd played so far since he'd re-signed for us.
Yep. But then 3 minutes later, we decided to throw it all away, and Hamilton equalised. Hamilton down the right, knocked out by Helander, only back out to Hamilton player, who puts a cross into the back post, headed back into the middle of the box by Barisic. Their attacker hits a shot, deflected up off the leg of Helander, right into the path of the Hamilton player, who heads it into the back of the net. Calamity defending combined with Hamilton getting the break of the ball, but as we'll see over the next few games is... Yes, it's fortunate the way the ball's breaking, but I think that's because of the horrendous defending that's been going on.
It's like fucking Keystone Cop stuff here, Derek, and it's happening more and more. And it actually looks quite amateurish, to be honest with you, which I'm very surprised about, considering how well in other games the defence has been playing and how switched on they are. Seems to be that, for certain games, they're not switched on at all, and that was, as you say, it was calamitous, wasn't it?
Yeah. So in the 22nd minute, Tavernier on the right passes on the deck to Arfield, who hits a back heel to Jack, who had a first time shot from 25 yards and forces the keeper into a decent save. 23rd minute, ball from Jack in the middle to Kent on the left, takes it into the box, who tries to shoot. The defender moves his body and arm in the direction of the ball and clearly hits the defender's arm. Clear handball, as you like, once again, not given. Seems to be that every time we do a podcast, there's a handball or a very good penalty claim in the box and never given.
Again, as we're going to get on to with last night's game, Derek, and right in front of the referee as well. It's not as if he had a funny angle, and it was right in front of him, so there was absolutely no excuses. Clear as day, he actually moved his hand onto the ball, so it wasn't even, ball to hand, if you know what I mean. He actually went towards it, so you can't get much more clear handball than that. But thankfully it wasn't going to, affect us in the end. But, Stonewaller, Derek.
Yep. 25th minute, Jack on the left side from about 25 yards, cuts inside and unleashes a great shot, forcing the keeper into a great save where he managed to get his fingertips to it and no more and put it out for the corner. 31st minute, shot from Jack from 25 yards again, just wide of the post, another decent effort. 33rd minute, long ball from the left to the right into the box, looking for Tavernier, who made a good run, but the keeper was aware of it and he gathered it. It was a great chance and a great delivery as well.
Yes, yep, certainly was.
But fortunately, on the 43rd minute, we went 2-1 up with Kent scoring. He got the ball on the right-hand side, he cuts inside, drops the shoulder to create space for himself, unleashes an absolute beauty from about 19 yards into the top left corner. Outstanding goal from Kent.
Yep, superb. That's what we paid all this money for, Derek, is to get returns like that. And like I said, I thought he was excellent in the first half. He was our main danger man, and that was just a fantastic goal all round. As you say, the run, making space for himself, and it absolutely thundered it. You couldn't have got a better hit on that, right into the top corner. Absolutely fantastic goal. You could tell that he was enjoying himself at that point as well, Derek, and that's just what all the fans were wanting to see. It was a great goal.
Yeah, and great time to score as well, just before half-time.
Yep, definitely.
So into half-time, a wee bit buoyed, but then we made heavy weather of the second half, I felt. Certainly 46 minute, McGregor had to be alert and come out to the ball after the attacker was running into the box, and he met the ball after a good pass into the box. 48th minute, Hamilton keeper forced into making a save with his feet. 51st minute, good play with Jack passing to Kent and passing into the box, ending in Arfield just about to hit a shot, but the defender managed to slide in and clear the ball at the last minute. And then 55th minute, Hamilton crosses a great ball from the left to the right of the back post. The attacker sliding in and makes a contact, but it went wide. It was a decent effort. And then probably Hamilton's best chance of the game on the 63rd minute. The ball flashed across our goal with the attacker sliding in. He completely missed the ball. I think if he had contacted, it was really an empty net. The defence was absolutely nowhere. Kamara was the furthest back player. Yep. He managed to get a slight nick on the ball, which I think put the attacker off. Just calamitous defending again, and it really should have been 2-2 at that point.
It was a shocking miss for the guy, Derek, to be honest with you. But as you say, there was nobody tracking the guy. He had a free run at the back post. That, defending is shocking considering, the experience that we've got out there. The defence was nowhere. That's quite worrying, Derek, to think about that as well. And we got off with that one there big time. As you say, Kamara being the furthest defender back, that's quite scary for if one player, because we couldn't exactly say that Hamilton were going all out attacking on us, Derek. You know what I mean? They had their one main striker up front and they were just trying to get their wingers into support. And if we can lose guys like that in the box, no disrespect to Hamilton, it's going to bring problems. So I thought that it'd have been something they would have worked on, but again, as we've seen since, it's not happened. So slightly worrying, Derek, with the defence that way, because I've been big in the defence up all year, but for things like that, that really should have been 2-2 at that point.
Yep, absolutely. And then over the next kind of 20 minutes, we made a few changes. Arfield, Aribo and Defoe all came off. Ojo, Davis and Morelos all came on. On the 86th minute, Morelos was fouled in the back. He was getting held on to, tries to shrug off the player. He did kind of flick his leg back a wee bit in that process, and he gets a yellow card. Absolutely shocking refereeing, because I think it was Davies for Hamilton. He had fouled a guy in the middle of the park, nothing given. The play raged on. He then fouled another player and nothing was given at all. We ended up clearing it, and then right from that point, that's when Morelos was getting fouled and we get the yellow card for it. Absolutely atrocious refereeing once again.
Definitely,
it's something that Morelos wouldn't have been put in that position if the referee had pulled back, not for the first foul, even for the second foul on us. It's a disgrace of refereeing once again. I know,
exactly. Yep.
But then we rounded out the game on the 92nd minute with Ryan Kent getting his second of the game and us going 3-1 up. It was a long ball down the right, knocked out by the defender, but only falls to Jack, who played a square pass to Morelos, who then squares it to Kent just inside the box, who slots it home into the bottom left corner. A great, well-worked goal.
Yep, superb goal, and as I say, made kind of heavy work at Derek. Maybe the result slightly flatters us, certainly in the second half, but I'm really not caring. Just glad to get away with a victory, and as you saw for Celtic's game last night, Hamilton are no pushovers. I mean, they struggled against them also, so a very, very good result in the end anyway for us. So if you'd have said 3-1 before the game, I'd have bitten your hand off for it. So I was pleased with the result. Patchy game, Derek. There was a few things that you were like, oh, that's a bit dodgy, but looking at the positives, Ryan Kent, Ryan Jack were superb throughout the game.
Yep. So it led us into the next game, which was Thursday the 28th of November. It was away to Feyenoord, where we drew 2 each. So an absolute cracking result, and just given the way the other result went as well, we kind of left the game feeling a bit disappointed. We hadn't qualified.
Yep, I know. It was as I'm sure you're about to get into the actual match, Derek, but before the game kicked off, we knew this was going to be an incredibly difficult match. There's no British team had ever went to that ground and won a game, so we knew that we were going to be up for it. It was a very hostile crowd, and I thought we were excellent in it. Derek played very well, which I'm sure you're about to get into.
I think it ended up round about 10,000 Rangers fans in and around Amsterdam and Rotterdam.
Yep.
But there was some absolute fanny put a picture on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it was, of them holding a banner up saying, "We hate Celtic, effing bastards." We all know what that word was.
Aye.
Just, I don't understand the mentality of some fans with that. We've been pilloried time and time again. We know that UEFA have a hard line on this type of behaviour and offensive, behaviour, banners, singing songs and all that kind of thing. Why even put yourself in that position? And more importantly, why even put the club in that position by thinking you're a cool hard man by putting this on social media? Absolutely fucking ludicrous.
Derek, I am more annoyed with the fact that somebody thought that it was a sensible thing to do. Both acts, knowing how much scrutiny we're under. Now, I'm not going to come out and say, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. But it's more the common sense aspect for me. Sheer stupidity by people. Knowing, do these people honestly not think that the media are out to get us in this country after everything that's happened over the last few years? Every opportunity they can get to paint us in a bad light. How many times have I actually said that sentence on this podcast in the last few years? For fuck's sake. It's unbelievable. It's stupidity. Not only getting the flag made up, not only taking it to an airport where loads of folk would see it, somebody taking a picture and posting it on social media is absolutely... my mind boggles at people who think that that's normal. The one thing that I will say though, Derek, is the reaction that these guys got on social media by fellow Rangers supporters was great, because I never seen one single person commenting in a positive way, or if I have, I've missed it, because everybody else is basically like, you're a bunch of fucking idiots, we don't want you anything to do with our club, you don't even think about taking that flag into the stadium, which they didn't, because it would have been all the media, that could have been. And, so it got the response for me on social media that I was pleased, the way that everybody reacted to it, and it didn't get unfurled. And I think, I'm hoping that the guys that did unfurl it thought, shit, this hasn't got the fucking reaction that we thought it was going to get for our fans. And they didn't bring it out because it was just stupid. But the comments after it, Derek, the Evening Times had us apparently with a banner with F the Pope on it, which fucking absolutely nothing to do with that. So it was made up. But when you see something like that on social media, that is when the media are going to jump on it, aren't they? And there's going to be other stuff will come out for the media, whether they're true or not, they'll print it. So, and it's all leading for stuff like this. And it was just pure fucking idiotic behaviour. And, you really have to wonder about some people sometimes, because if you really did care about your club, you wouldn't keep putting them in a position like that.
Yeah, it's selfishness. It's selfishness, looking for likes and a bit of, look at me, I'm a hard man type thing. It's pathetic.
I don't know if it's to do with being a hard man. I think it's just fucking stupidity. I think they're looking for a reaction. Oh, aye, well done, superb. We'll fucking tell them. And I'm trying to comprehend myself why you would actually do it, especially in games that you know that it's going to get picked up on. I can't get into my own head, and I'm just pleased that there were so many people out there who said to them, look, no, fuck off, I'm not wanting anything to do with you. That's about the only positive thing out of it for me, Derek, is that they didn't get the reaction that they were looking for.
Well, Rangers have said they've already banned 2 of them that were involved, so there was certainly another 2 or 3 in that picture as well, so well done to the club for that one. They're also looking to find out who set the flares off in our area as well in the ground at the start of the game, and they're looking to ban them as well. Certainly we don't know who's to blame for them at all, but certainly Rangers are going to get fined because we've been charged by UEFA for that, so we've got a fine. I've seen a few people associated with certain groups praise it and be happy about it and all that kind of thing. Well, quite frankly, I hope Rangers are invoicing the people that are wanting to associate themselves with that then, and if they don't want to pay the fine, then they get their season ticket ripped up and never renewed, because that's the type of thing that I think Celtic have came out and after the latest fine, which they've said that they've really cost the Green Brigade have cost Celtic a player over the last couple of seasons. That's the type of thing we're talking about. You're talking about, it's a pitiful, £18,000 fine or £50,000 fine. Well, think about what we could do in Ibrox with that. People complain all the time about the state of the toilets. Do you know how good the toilets could be with £18,000 or £50,000? That's the type of shit we're talking about. It all adds up at the end of the day. Celtic don't seem to bother about it. Their fans, they've already rescinded the ban for the Green Brigade.
I've seen that, yes.
It's fucking pathetic. Let them do what they want. They'll get in trouble. Worry about ourselves. And we've said that time and time again. So I really hope Rangers invoice the fans that were to blame for the flares.
And Derek, we are under the microscope. We are. It's not that's, fair have been, they've done their bit, that's it. We are constantly monitored, constantly. And I just don't think that some people get it. I don't know if it's, a lot of them are just daft laddies and all that. I don't know, which isn't an excuse. But it's just quite incredible. And we've been, as I say, how many times have I actually said that and we've spoke about stuff like that over the last few years? It's quite incredible. We are always going to be under a microscope. Always. It's not going to go away. It's not going to be just certain games. We are under the microscope at all times. And the media in Scotland, as soon as they got a sniff of that, it was everywhere, Derek. Absolutely everywhere. And that's not going to change. And folk really need to fucking realise that. It goes beyond stupidity for me, that's all it is.
Yeah. Anyway, we've talked enough about that. Let's get on to the actual decent result.
That's your fault.
Aye, I know. So we lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Jack, Davis, Kamara, Ojo, Morelos and Kent. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Edmondson, Flanagan, Aribo, Barker, Arfield and Stewart. So really, it was a dire first half from our point of view, and we were lucky not to be more than one goal down at that point.
Yes, definitely.
Kind of no complaints about the first half the way it went, because we just never started. I think we forgot that the game had started at 5-6 and rather than in 7:45.
Yeah.
We were second to every ball. We were not picking up loose balls. The midfield were posted missing, resulting in the attack having nothing to work off. The defence was absolutely in pieces most of the time. Helander and McGregor were the only ones that were keeping the scoreline respectable. And the first 15 minutes, I felt Tavernier was decent enough, but he lapsed into getting too many hit and hope crosses to absolutely nobody. And that's the problem. When he was getting up, it was a case of, he wasn't looking up and seeing where the men were.
The whole communication, I think, Derek, for the whole game, every player looked disjointed. It wasn't even just one or two. There was no cohesion there whatsoever in the first half. And I don't know what it was. I would hate to think they were shell shocked to the atmosphere, because we've played in stadiums like that before, Derek. I can't quite put my finger on it.
No, but in the second minute there was a quick counter-attack by us, ending in Morelos trying to chip the ball into the back of the net from the left side of the box, but it went well wide. 8th minute, we're putting pressure on the Feyenoord defenders in their box. We won the ball back on the left-hand side in the box, crossed it in the deck, and Morelos couldn't stretch enough to get the ball. 18th minute, the corner from the left from Feyenoord into the back post, header down at the ground, bounced right up in front of McGregor, who managed to pull off an incredible reaction save.
Great save, yep.
It bounces back up. The Feyenoord attacker jumped up with his back to go and gets a head to it, and it skims the outside of the left post. Just once again, McGregor absolutely outstanding there. Aye,
they were very good in the air, Derek. They were, it seemed to be any cross or anything into the box, they were causing problems for us. Especially, when we've got two big guys in there that should be dealing with these crosses. They were getting on a lot of the chances in the air, which was quite worrying at that point as well, Derek.
Yep. 19th minute, Feyenoord with a shot. It took a deflection off our defender and just by the left post. And then Feyenoord went one up on the 32nd minute. So ball down the left that was crossed in, not dealt with a few times. A poor header back out the box by Barisic. Couple of passes in and around our box, not dealt with again. It was a shot from about 15 yards off the knee of Helander and into the back of the net. The shot might have been going wide anyway, but it really doesn't matter. It hit off the knee of Helander. Yeah. Can't blame Helander for that one, but it was just really poor defending in the first place, much like what it was against Hamilton.
Yes, exactly. As I say, there's a wee pattern starting there, Derek. It started at the Hamilton game and unfortunately continued on for the next few games.
Yep. 36th minute, another great save from McGregor after a shot on the right hand side blocked from close range. 41st minute, free kick from the right, floated in from 20 yards, right to the back post. Player drifted past our defence and volleyed it over the bar from about 2 yards. Another one of their players was flagged for offside in any case, but once again, defence in pieces and really dangerous. And that's how the first half rounded out. So, I mean, that's some of the kind of highlights, as it were, for that half. It never really explained the game, that half, because they were all over us for most of it.
They had the most of the possession, Derek. We were doing, mostly we were, I won't say camped inside their own half, but really creating very little And like I said, there was no cohesion at all where players, and we just didn't get started. But the only good thing I was saying to myself at that point is surely in the second half we've got to come out and play better than we did there, and thankfully we played a hell of a lot better than we did there. So a lot of positives in the second half, which I'm sure you're just about to let us know about.
Yeah, it was that old cliche of a game of two halves, because we came out the blocks on fire for the second half, and we got the goal in the 52nd minute with Morelos. It was a lovely long ball up the park by Davis to Kent on the left hand side. Lovely control, cuts it back and crosses to the back post for Morelos, who heads it into the back of net. Outstanding all round move, but a great header from Morelos.
Yeah, fantastic goal, Derek. It really was. For a guy who you don't, he's not the biggest of guys, but he is fantastic in the area. Obviously, he has been working on it, and as you say, the whole move, starting and then the ball into the box, and he timed his run perfectly, timed his header. It was a tremendous goal. It really was.
Yep. My stream went down for 5 minutes after this point, and I think McGregor had to pull off a save. 61st minute was a shot from Morelos at close range, but it was blocked by the keeper and out for the corner. 62nd minute, Morelos getting climbed all over inside their box and brought down. No foul given. It was again the most penalty of penalties ever. He was mounted basically. So as I said in the post match, if it's not a foul and a penalty, then it should be a foul against Morelos for backing into the player. It's not nothing as the referee gave, and the referee once again was in a great position to see it.
Aye, Derek, he basically jumped right on the top of him, on his shoulders. If Morelos had basically crouched there, he would have been giving the guy, a Cali code. Do you know what I mean? It was that bad. He went right over. Again, a complete stonewaller. I couldn't even see an excuse as to why the referee wouldn't think it was, because Morelos didn't sort of bend over and didn't push back on the guy. So you couldn't say that it was Morelos that was backing into him, because he was in a stationary position when it happened. So it was as clear a penalty as you could get, and I honestly can't remember if there was anything said or the referee, the decision that he said it wasn't a penalty. But again, clear-cut penalty.
Yep. However, on the 64th minute, we went 2-1 up with Morelos scoring. Kamara passed to the left to Barisic, who played a great dink cross into Morelos, who had a glancing header into the back of net. That's kind of simplifying it, because I think I've only seen it once or twice, but the way Morelos had to move his head and body to try and get onto that, and then it was a great dinked header. What a brilliant goal.
It was a fantastic goal. The weight of the ball as well, the header that he put on it, just so that he could get enough to put it over the goalkeeper. It was absolutely brilliant, Derek. Two fantastic headers from Morelos in this game.
Yep. And then that kind of euphoria lasted for 3 minutes, because on the 67th minute, the Feyenoord pulled it level again. It was a quick break up the park on the counter. Defenders completely nowhere. Passed right through. Took the ball into the box. Their attacker shrugged the defence, who looked hesitant to tackle. Looked as if he had taken it too far down the left-hand side. McGregor came out to meet it, but it was dinked over him at an angle and into the net. Very poor defending, but you've got to hand it to their attacker. That was a cheeky, brilliant goal.
Great finish by him, Derek. It really was. I was the same as you. I thought he's carried that too wide, but the composure that he showed and the vision just to get it over him, it was a great finish by him. But as you say, just disappointing that we couldn't let the lead last for that long. But this team were a very good team, but we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, didn't we? Yeah.
76th minute, Ojo came off and Arfield came on, and the last piece of play I've got here in the 89th minute was a great ball up the right into our box from Feyenoord. Barisic managed to get his body in front of the attacker and chest it back to the keeper before the attacker could get to it, and that's how the game rounded out. So going into the last 5 minutes, we were going through it at this stage, because the other game was a draw. Young Boys were beating Porto, I think, at that point, and that's what we were needing. And then Porto drew level, and then straight away they scored a second to win the game. So it was, if we had won the game, we were through. Regardless of the other result, it was just so frustrating. And as I said at the start of covering this game, it was disappointing to come away. You know, it was a great 2-each draw, getting a point away from a very hostile and very difficult place to go. We should have been euphoric, but there was that wee bit of, you know, disappointment for the fact that we could have qualified. But
exactly, yeah, I know.
But it's, you know, certainly, who would have thought after playing 4 qualifying rounds going into the last game, we're top in the group, which is incredible.
Exactly, and we've given ourselves a great opportunity here, Derek. A great opportunity for the remaining game at home. I'm not getting carried away, Derek. We've been in this position before. We really have, and I think that's why everyone is being a wee bit hesitant about it, because we have been there and it has happened and it's went horribly wrong for us. So let's just hope that they're up for it. We've got a big game coming up on Sunday. I think that, especially, we're about to get into last night's game soon. I think the game on Sunday has got a lot to do with that. But no, fantastic result away from home, Derek. Second half, I thought we were excellent. Morelos again showed his class. 2 fantastic goals. A great team performance in the second half. As you say, just a bit unfortunate that we didn't last out. But, we really have to take that as a fantastic performance. I was really pleased with it. And, just unlucky that it wasn't enough to get us through. But, we just have to look to the next game and make sure we get the job done then.
Yep. So next game we've got here is Sunday the 1st of December. It was at home to Hearts, where we won 5-0. We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Barisic, Kamara, Davis, Aribo, Arfield, Morelos and Kent. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Jack, Ojo, Defoe, Flanagan, Katic and Stewart. To say this was a rout is kind of an understatement, wasn't it?
As slight change. It's something that I'm going to be asking you about, but the one problem position for Rangers, I think, this season is who to play on the right of our front three. In the last game, it was Ojo. We've had Arfield, and now he was playing Aribo in there as well. I think this is a real problem position for us, Derek. I thought last night he would have changed it again and put Greg Stewart into that position, but he was obviously wanting to try Aribo in there because we all know how skillful Aribo is, and we still really don't know what position to play him in. I think that's the big problem. But I'll let you get into the game and we'll talk about that afterwards after you've summarised it.
Yep. So in the 10th minute it was good play in and around the box. Kamara inside the box on the left going away from goal, and he was nudged in the back. A certain penalty claim, but nothing given once again. Wasn't a stonewaller, but certainly the player had no attempt to play the ball. They were going away from goal. So what can you say about that?
I certainly thought it was, Derek, as soon as I seen it. So
yeah.
But
11th minute, we went 1-0 up with Morelos. We picked the ball back up after Hearts managed to get it away. Kamara plays the ball to Barisic on the left side and plays an inch perfect first time cross to the back post. Morelos jumps up and headers into the back of the net. 2 games, 3 goals, 3 headers for Morelos.
Another great header, a fantastic cross as well, Derek, and a brilliant start to the game.
Yep. The next 20 minutes kind of a bit scrappy from each team, but mostly our possession, but we're doing little with it. 29th minute, great cross from Tavernier from the right. Morelos gets in front of the defenders, controls it, keeper narrows the angle, Morelos turns and shoots, but the keeper saves from close range. 30th minute, an absolutely shocking challenge by Ikpeazu on Davis, late with his stud showing, yellow card given, clearly as it should have been a red for me.
Yep, definitely, Derek, without a shadow of a doubt.
36th minute, we went 2-0 up with Ryan Kent scoring. We had a lot of possession, ended on a great through ball by Arfield into the box to Aribo, gets close to the byline, looks up, cuts it back to Kent, and from about 7 yards hits a first time shot into the back of the net. I think it wasn't really much the finish, it was the actual through ball from Arfield, and the vision from Aribo in that case was brilliant.
Yeah, great. And as I say, going into that position, this is the type of thing that we're looking for Aribo to be doing further forward, because we do know he's a very skillful player. But as you say, great play all round by Arfield, and then up to Aribo as well to find him, and a pretty straightforward finish by him as well. So, but fantastic, 2-0 up, and starting to relax a wee bit.
Yep. So into half time from there, and we're just looking for more of the same. 48th minute, down the right hand side, Tavernier crosses the ball on the deck looking for Kent in the centre, completely unmarked. Keeper does well and gets out to the ball just in time. 57th minute, long free kick into the box by Barisic. Goldson gets his head to it from the 6-yard line and bounces just wide of the right post. 62nd minute, lovely through ball by Kent to Morelos, who beats the offside, picks up the ball, drives it 10 yards into the box, hits a shot from the left hand side, but it was over the bar. Keeper had narrowed the angle, and it was the defender was on him as well, so unlucky from Morelos.
Yep.
However, we went 3-0 up on the 63rd minute by a great OG by Berra.
Clinical finish by Berra.
Exactly. Davis sends the ball on the deck from the centre to the right hand side of the box to Tavernier. Tavernier with a first time cross on the deck finds Berra, who slides in with some power and hits it into the back of his own net. If it had been our player, we would have been absolutely praising that goal, so we need to do it now, don't we? 62nd minute, Kent and Morelos off, Ojo and Defoe came on. 71st minute, Hearts got forward and got a shot away from 30 yards, easy for McGregor and was right at him. 73rd minute, Kamara off and Stewart on, and there was fire in his belly right from the minute he came on, wasn't there?
Definitely, yep.
And he scored the first goal for him of the game on the 79th minute to put us 4-0 up. The Hearts defender dithered with the ball on the right hand side of the box at the touch line. Lovely tenacity by Ojo to run in and rob the defender of the ball. He hits a shot from a tight angle. The keeper saves it, but rebounded out to Stewart with a simple tap in, and that turned out to be the 10,000th league goal by Rangers as well.
Yep, fantastic.
82nd minute, lovely ball over the top by Davis, finds Defoe, who tries to lob the keeper, but he puts it over the bar. He scored a very similar goal to that previously this season as well, so it was unlucky. I think just the distance was too short. And then we rounded off the game on the 84th minute with Stewart getting a brace and making it 5-0. It was a free kick from the left, initial header saved by the keeper, knocked back out, another save. The ball comes back out to Stewart, who heads it, and the keeper saves, but it spins over the line. I think Defoe as well came steamrolling in and slid in and managed to hit it over the line. I think the ball was over the line before he hit it anyway. So, but nonetheless, 5-0 and an emphatic victory.
It was, Derek. Delighted that we got that result. Hearts in the second half were absolutely diabolical. What has to be said, Derek, they were a complete and utter shambles, especially when the own goal went in for Berra. They completely chucked it. And when it got to 5-0, that was us completely, drawing level with Celtic at that point. So another goal would actually put us top of the league. But it wasn't to be. Fantastic result at home. But again, like I said at the start of the match there, Derek, he still doesn't know who he's going to play on the right-hand side of your front three. And again, that showed with the game that you're about to get into for last night. It's just that one position that I feel that he doesn't quite know who to play in there. And I don't know about you, Derek, but I thought that Greg Stewart would have been a stick-on to play last night, considering he came on, just like what you said, showed that he did have fire in the belly to come in and try and make an impact, which he did when he came on. So really quite surprised to see him not taking part last night at all. Very strange.
This is the part when people start going, we should have never sold Candace.
Well, Derek, that is true.
But Candace wanted to leave, though.
He wanted to go. He wanted to go, exactly. It wasn't, I still think that Candace would still be there and still playing a huge part if he was still with us. So, but it is the one position. I mean, and who would you play in that position, Derek, right now?
Probably Stewart. Any time he's came on, he's proven himself, and he's not been given the fair game time. You've got to say, would a fit Jones get in there potentially? But he fucked it for himself. So
he did, but I also would think that Jones is more a left-sided player. Jamie Murphy also either playing in that support role or on the left-hand side as well. Daniel Candace was the last right-sided sort of attacking player that we had, and I think it's something that we're struggling with. And I really hope come January that he's maybe got a wee target in there that that we could go for, because it's a shame for Ojo. It's not really happened for him. I think we all know that he could be a good player, but we're far too heavy on that side, in my opinion. Nothing's going to shift Ryan Kent for that position either, because we've paid a hell of a lot of money for him, and he's played well as well. He fits into that system. It's just, I wish we had another player like him or similar to him that could play on the right hand side, but we've not got that, and it's just not been happening for Arfield. It's not been happening for Ojo, really. And as I say, he's played a Rebo up there. A Rebo's still a strange one for me, Derek. I don't know where he would be best suited to play in a team. He does look a fantastic player, but I just struggle as to where we would actually play him.
What side does Glenn Middleton play on?
Left as well.
Left. So
yep.
we kind of said that at the start of the year. We seem to have been signing a lot of left-sided players.
Yes.
I think there was one of the problems was because we weren't getting Kent at the start of the transfer window. We went and signed players because as replacements.
Another one, Brandon Barker as well. Yeah. Yes, another one, mostly left-sided attacking player. Yeah. So you've got him, you've got Kent, you've got Ojo, you've got Jones, and you've got Jamie Murphy if he's back fit, plus, as you say, Glenn Middleton. So there's 6 players who, if I think they were to get their choice, they would be playing in that position, sort of left winger. And we've got Kent, Kent would be the first one, all of them that would play, because he's a fantastic player and he's fitting into your team. So it really is struggling. We're not the managers, we're not the footballing director type guys in there that are making the decisions. I really hope, if it's clear for us to see that that's the position that we're desperately needing, that's their main priority, certainly when it comes to January, whether it's a player on loan or we're actually buying someone. I mean, the guy, the young lad that we got from Motherwell as well, Derek, Jake Hasty, I believe he's a right-sided winger, and he's been playing very well. I think is it Rotherham he's playing for, or something like that. He's been playing excellent for them, but as he's at the standard at the moment that we're looking for, that's no slagging the guy off, I would be looking for somebody playing at a higher level to come in and play that position for us. But again, it will all come down to the money restraints in January, if we're able to go out and buy someone or bring someone in on loan. But that, for me, would be the primary position that we should be looking for. I've
said it before, and we'll get into it when I go into this game, but Flanagan has been constantly played on the left-back position. I think you've got an instant solution to that, where Tavernier's defending's been suspect. He's on the right-hand side. Push him up and put him in on the attacking position. Get Flanagan in his natural position on the right side in defence, and then use him that way. There's you've solved the issue.
It's certainly an option, Derek. As you say, it would stop. It would give Tav some cover as well. Definitely get a shot. Would he give it a shot in the next game coming up? I'm not quite sure, but we've had games.
Certainly after Flanagan's performance last night, I very much doubt it.
Well, do you know what I mean? So I'll let you get into the next game, Derek, because there's a few things that I want to talk to you about with that regard. So I'll let you get into the next game if you're finished with the 5-0 game against Hearts.
So the next game was last night. It was Wednesday the 4th of December. It was a 2-each draw away to Aberdeen. We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Helander, Flanagan, Arfield, Davis, Jack, Aribo, Morelos and Kent. On the subs bench we had Fotheringham, Katic, Halliday, Ojo, Stewart, Defoe and Kamara. So, first 30-35 minutes, it was outstanding football. There was only one team in it, and we got our 2 goals in that respect. On the second minute, Tavernier was hit with a pie. Some of the people are saying it was a banana, but no, I thought it was a pie from what I could see as well.
Yep.
6th minute, Arfield with a shot, goal bound, is spun out and out for the corner. 10th minute, ball breaks for Morelos on the right hand side after an error from Aberdeen, drives the ball forwards 20 yards and hits a shot just inside the box at an angle, but was saved out for the corner. 16th minute, Morelos hits a quick shot from the corner of the 18-yard box and it was gathered by the keeper. It was a decent effort, and we went 1-0 up on the 17th minute with Arfield scoring. Aribo gets the ball after being alert on the right hand side, drives it forward towards the centre and passes wide right to Tavernier. It was a first time cross on the deck and a first time dink into the bottom left corner. Great goal from Arfield there.
Great goal. Delighted for him, Derek, because he's not the same player he was last year. It's been a few times he's got into goal scoring positions the last few games. It's not happened for him, but delighted that he managed to sort of break his duck and get on the score sheet and put us 1-0 up quite early in the game as well, which was what we were looking for, Derek. So, no, absolutely brilliant start from us, and we were hoping that it was going to continue.
Yep, and certainly the rest of the kind of up until this point, we had dominated the game.
Yep, completely,
without really creating too much, which is again the annoying thing. We're always probing in and around the area, but not creating too much. But we did go 2-0 up on the 29th minute with Jack getting the goal. Kent intercepted the ball in midfield, drove the ball forward, passed to Morelos in the box on the right. Morelos had a shot, it was saved by the keeper, but rebound spilled out right into the path of Jack, who had a simple tap in. Great for him to score at PodBean as well, and at this point, absolutely easy street for us.
Yeah, it was, Derek, and it was at that point we were like, we could really go out and seriously punish this. And I text you at that point to say we need to keep the pressure up, we need to get some more goals, because I think, the ideal scenario would have been get 3-0 up, and then they can, make a couple of changes and stuff like that. But Rangers being Rangers, it's never that bloody simple, is it?
No. And at that point, the team just seemed to switch off. And I think Gerrard's alluded to that, which we'll get onto what Gerrard at the end of the game. But the team just switched off. And once again, calamitous goal to lose as well because of the defence. On the 38th minute, there was I would have said it was an OG, but I think it was given to one of the Aberdeen players, and it was 2-1. It was a break of the ball for Aberdeen at the edge of our box. McGregor charging out and dives at the feet of the attacker, misses the ball. Calamity defending between Golson and Tavernier. The ball was deflected off Tavernier and then Helander into the back of the net. A lot of folk are saying Tavernier could have done a bit better. He didn't really make much an effort to throw himself at the ball.
No, he didn't, like that. And that's what's annoyed me the most, Derek. You text me straight away saying that you thought that McGregor should have had more, responsibility there. I don't think he should have, because he knew that he had defenders back there, Derek. I don't know what the fuck Tavernier was thinking about. I really don't. He just kind of sort of tried to stick his belly out to try and, side on. It wasn't even I'll throw myself in front of this here. The ball was coming in, he tried to stick his belly out, right? And he's a fit guy, he's no like me, he's not really got a belly to stick out.
It would have worked if it was me or you in that position.
Oh, Christ, Derek, I'd have got nowhere near the goal if I'd have been there. But it was, the fact that he tried to do that side on, and it still managed to get through him, and Helander threw himself at it as well. Got a touch on it also, and it still ended up in the back of the net. It was absolutely, it was comical. They guys should be looking back at that and saying to themselves, my God, that's embarrassing that happened. How can a guy manage to get round a goalkeeper and get a shot through two defenders that it's taking a sort of touch off both of them and still manage that, the ball still in the back of the net? Absolutely shocking, calamitous defending, Derek, and they should all really have to hang their heads in shame, and I really hope that the manager went fucking through them at half time, because that was shocking. But it didn't. It still didn't work, because as you're about to get into in the second half, the message did not get through to them there, and it was again through the game away.
Yep, bad time to lose the goal as usual, but thought that might galvanise the team, and it never had done the exact opposite. We went to pieces in the second half. Aberdeen, in fairness, they were great in the second half. They changed the system about. They seemed a lot more fired up.
They weren't great, Derek. They were just more up for it than we were. They weren't. Aberdeen are a poor team. They're a poor team. They're physical. They charge you down. They didn't give you any time the ball, but they're not a great team. But they were just up for it more than what we were in the second half. That's what it came down to.
Well, the 46th minute was last-ditch defending by us after Jack gave the ball away close to our goal. And then more calamity in the 47th minute, where it went 2 each. It was a throw-in into our box, lobbed over our defence, finds the Aberdeen player who hit a shot, deflected off Helander, right into the path of the Aberdeen attacker at the back post, and a simple tap-in. Just more pathetic defending. And again, what I was kind of getting onto about them getting the break of the ball, that was, obviously these two goals here, the goal against, in fact, the two goals against Feyenoord, the goal against Hamilton, all stemmed from getting lucky breaks off the ball. But that was all a result of the hesitancy in defence. They don't seem to have a clue what they're doing. And as I said in the post-match pod, you've got 4 defenders there. You've got Tavernier, who's a stick-on. You've got Goldson, who's a stick-on. You've got Helander there, who seems to be that position that chops and changes between him and Katic.
Not anymore, Derek. Not anymore. He is Steven Gerrard's. That is his defensive pair. That is who he sees as his first choice pair. So I would disagree with you there. Helander is a stick on as well now for Gerrard if he's fit. Right. He's there.
But what I'm getting onto here is there's been defensive issues throughout the period, and the two players that have been constants have been Goldson and Tavernier. So what does that tell you? Because it seems to be that two positions where both of them get out of position, both of them can't tackle the ball sometimes, both of them give, I'm trying not to, completely slate them here because there are great qualities of the players.
They are, no, I know they are, yeah.
But it's the calamity defending between both of them. So
they're not learning for their mistakes, Derek. That's the worrying part. It's like, the game against Hamilton, crosses coming in, nobody tracking the man back to the back post. Same again with last night against Aberdeen. That's its second goal, Derek. I know they got a break of the ball and stuff like that, but the guy was completely unmarked at the back post. He just walked through and he was able just to tap the ball in at the back post with nobody on him. These are all basic things in football that you've got to track your man. You've got to make sure that everybody's got a man on them, especially when you're defending. And it's not happened in the last few games, and that's the criminal thing for these guys. Because, as you've quite rightly said, the likes of Golden and Tav have played every single game, and Helander now as well. Helander must have played for the last 7-8 games in a row now. That be about right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, though. I wouldn't blame Helander too much because he's been one of the standouts in defence, I would have said. It's the fact that you look at the times when Tavernier's fucked up, he's got in the road of, and I highlighted this in one of the other pods, he's got in the road of Goldson, and it seems to be that these two players are getting out of position and they seem to be covering for each other. Just stick in your actual natural position and don't cover for each other, and you might actually get on a wee bit better.
It's the language barrier, Derek, because one of them's English and the other one's English, and it's quite, there shouldn't be any. The communication should be there, which is quite worrying. I'll let you get on with the rest of the half, Derek, but it was another really, really fucking laughable goal that we let in. The first one was worse, I think, than that one. The first one was, you'll honestly no see a worse defending than that first goal last night. It was embarrassing. The second one was embarrassing as well, but just because of the lack of tracking back. Basic defending there, and at that point when it got to 2-2 we were like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go, because we just weren't in the game at all at that point, Derek.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be as annoyed if it was like a worldie or something like that, or it was an extreme well worked goal.
Aye.
None of these goals we've talked about that we've conceded over the last 4 games have been like that. They've been shitters.
Yeah.
But anyway, 56th minute, Aribo taken out right on the edge of the box, if not inside. Clear obstruction, ref right in front of it, nothing given.
Nothing given, yep.
63rd minute, Flanagan tried to clear the ball out of our box, but only managed to hit it high in the air, right into the path of the Aberdeen player from about 10 yards out. Unfortunately, it was a comfortable header for McGregor.
It was actually the flight of the ball, the height that the boy got up, and the power in the header. Thankfully, he hit it straight at McGregor, because if McGregor had even been 1 foot to the side of that was another goal, Derek. So, thankfully for us, it was straight at him, but that was calamity defending also.
Yep. 70th minute, corner from Aberdeen. The attacker got a free header at it, but he had a biscuit tin head, and it went by the post from about 4 yards out.
Yep.
In the 71st minute, it was a quick break up the park. Kent feeds it to Morelos inside the box on the right, and there's a first time shot, but a comfortable save from the keeper on the deck. 76th minute, Arfield off and Ojo on. I'll get into the substitutions and the tactics at the end of this here. 84th minute, Jack had a shot on the bounce from 20 yards, slight deflection and was going wide, but a comfortable save for the keeper anyway. 87th minute, Tavernier with a free kick on the edge of the box in the centre, got it up and over the wall, heading to the post to stamp, but saved by the keeper and out for the corner. And then in the 91st minute, Kent off and Katic on. Now, in that time as well, I can't remember what time it happened, there was a foul which was just inside the box, if not on the line, but if it was on the line, it's classed as in the box. It's a penalty. And it's forced Beaton to come out and apparently apologise to Steven Gerrard on that one because he got it wrong.
Shat it, Derek. That's the way he got it wrong. He shat it. He absolutely shat it.
It was right in front of him. That's the unbelievable thing. Now, you combine that with the Hamilton one. You combine that with the Ross County goal that was chopped off, that should have never been chopped off when they were playing Celtic at the weekend there. You combine that with a penalty that should have been gone. Granted, you still need to score the penalties, but these are all the fine margins which are clear mistakes by the officiating, which might ultimately decide the league this year. If Ross County had scored that, if that Ross County goal had stood, I think that would have made it 2 each, I think, at that point. Or they would have made it 2-1 to them. There's a potential swinger of a game there. Last night, had we got a penalty and we scored that penalty, we would have won that game there. Yep. This is the type of shit officiating that we are dealing with, which are costing leagues, ultimately, and will ultimately cost jobs when you look at it as well. So
the referee shat his cell last night, Derek, to give us anything there, and it's as blatantly to see, that is what happened. And the reason that I'll say that it was blatant is because all last night I was constantly shouting at my TV, telling Andy Walker to shut the fuck up because that man is the most annoying, fucking most biased commentator, and that's saying something, Derek, considering the commentators that we've got to deal with, and listen to on a fucking weekly basis in Scotland, because when you've got the likes of Chris Suttendane commentating, and Craig and guys like that who are as fucking biased as you can get, Andy Walker takes it to a whole new level, because all Andy Walker spoke about last night was, Aberdeen, they're getting back into this, and if Aberdeen just get a goal, they're right back in this, and that's Aberdeen scored, if, they're really going for it, and that'll put it, and then when it got to 2-2, Aberdeen will surely get another chance here, Aberdeen will surely get the chance to get, fucking willing Aberdeen on, and willing everything, but when Andy Walker turns round and says that that's a blatant penalty not given to Rangers, then you know that it's not just blatant, it's a complete stone waller that we got, and I think he said it about 3 times that it should have been a penalty, and that would have won us the game, Derek, because let's be honest, Aberdeen did fuck all after they scored their second goal to us, really. They never really had any chances. They were delighted that they got the draw. They had managed to score the 2 goals into us. They weren't interested. That's the type of team that they are. It was basically, as long as Rangers don't win, we're delighted, and that's the fucking mindset of their shit support as well. As long as they bastards don't win, we're no caring if we didn't win, as long as they didn't win. That's how it goes. So that penalty, any of the 2 penalties, Derek, would have won the game for us last night, and we would have still been sitting, level with Celtic on points.
If we scored them, because we don't want to fall into the Celtic trap where goal or a penalty means a goal. Still need to score them, and given Tavernier's record, I wouldn't even put that through. But what I want to really get into is the fucking inept performance from Gerrard last night. It was clear from minute 1 of that second half that Aberdeen were a different kettle of fish compared with the first 35 minutes.
We needed to change it.
And he never changed it until the 76th minute. There didn't even look as if there was a tactical shuffle in positions or anything like that.
And even then, when he did change it, Derek, 2 players who we would have said, right, either Defoe or Stewart or both on just now to completely change the dynamics up front. No, he brought Ojo on, and we've already spoke about Ojo. Ojo's not playing well now for us, Derek, so to bring him on at that point, I think we were all scratching our heads there, and it was really looking for Defoe in there, because if there's one person that will find space in the box, it's Defoe. If there's one person that if we get a wee chance, in the box, he'll find space and he'll get on the end of a ball. So I was flabbergasted that he wasn't on. I thought for the last 25 minutes, even half an hour, Defoe should have been on that pitch, and I would have had Stewart up there as well, because he's a goal threat also. So I don't know. I couldn't understand it myself, Derek.
I mean, even if he wanted to leave it that late, bring on a triple substitution, give a few players like, your Jacks, your Davis, your Kents, Morelos, a wee bit of rest, change it up, triple sub, they'll know what will hit them. it was late into the game, so if you were going to, lose somebody to injury, then there wasn't long to go anyway. And then the most ludicrous thing of the lot, we had a set piece on the 91st minute. He decided to bring Kent off and put Katic on just because he's a tall guy. It was a case of lump it into the box and see if he can get on it in his first touch. That was just fucking, Football Manager-esque.
Do you want to know something? If Barisic had been playing last night, Derek, I would have thought about, maybe that's a good idea, because we know that Barisic would have got a accurate cross onto there. But Tav has lost it altogether now, and his crosses are just woeful. They're not going on target to, all the crosses, he's maybe getting one or two into the correct positions. The rest of them are all completely overhit or no getting there. So that was a strange one as well, just like what you said. To try and get on the end of it. I just the whole thing, as I say, so Steven Gerrard needs to take the responsibility for that as well, because when you've got players like Defoe and Stewart on the bench, you should be utilising them, especially when we're not winning. Barisic was a huge miss for us last night, Derek. A huge miss,
absolutely,
because
and I think
he's been tremendous for us over. I mean, the vision the guy's got. His ability to put in accurate crosses is fantastic. So I've got no doubt in my mind, if he'd have been playing last night, we would have had at least 5 or 6 extra opportunities to score last night. I really do. So we missed him badly last night for both free kicks and just for getting down the left and putting crosses in. We really missed him last night. And who would have thought, 2 months ago, us saying that? But that actually shows you how much he has came on and become a vital part of our team for then. So we did miss him. We didn't have that, and it made Tav our main source of getting crosses in for the wing, and it just didn't work. Didn't work.
I mean, this is the thing with Tavernier as well, and I don't want this to become a berate Tavernier thing, but
no.
Once again, his free kick taken was fucking diabolical.
Aye.
We had 2 free kicks in a good place, and that was the one that should have been a penalty, and the one that was literally in the same position, just a wee bit further back.
Yep.
And he tried to float it without any pace over the top of the wall, and one of them he did, and it was a fairly comfortable save for the keeper.
It was.
But in that position, surely it would have been a better thing to absolutely just rocket it.
Fucking by power, just absolutely. It can take a deflection, it can, just absolutely thunder it. But again,
how many players can get the ball up and over the wall into the back of the net from literally 18 yards? Nobody.
Barisic.
Well,
he's the only one that I think that could manage it, to be honest with you.
But he's done it from an angle from the 18-yard line, whereas this was almost dead on straight. Both of them, it seems to be like an ego thing with Tavernier. I'm the captain, I'm the free kick taker, I'm doing it all. And I've said this in the last podcast as well, it almost seems to be that Tavernier is trying to do too much. He's trying to defend, he's trying to get forward, do the free kick taking, try to be captain. Let somebody else take the ability, and leave yourself just to do your job.
Yep.
But anyway, in the league, as much as last night was disappointing, it was going away, it was a difficult game, it was at Aberdeen, you know what they're like. You look at the way Celtic were last night, and they struggled, they got a last minute winner. It's not all doom and gloom, but as I said in the post-match, we cannot have too many more of these performances and results.
Derek, if we had have been 2-1 down last night and had got a draw, we would have been saying, the result's disappointing, but hey, we managed to get a draw out of that game where we could have been beaten. The disappointing thing for us was we were in complete control of that game last night, and 2 absolutely shocking pieces of defending. That's the annoying bit, is the only reason that we never won that game last night. That and the fact that we should have had 2 stonewall penalties, but getting away for that, we were, the masters of our own undoing there, and it was totally avoidable.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the league, we've played 15, won 12, drawn 2, lost 1, scored 45, conceded 10, goal difference plus 35. We're on 38 points. 2 behind Celtic and 2 goals behind Celtic as well. 9 ahead of Aberdeen and 10 ahead of Motherwell. In the Europa League, as I said, we top the group. We've played 5, won 2, drawn 2, lost 1, scored 7, conceded 5, goal difference +2 and on 8 points. The other teams, FC Porto and Young Boys, both on 7, and Feyenoord are on 5. So I worked this out and I put this on Twitter. We are the only group in the Europa League that all 4 teams still have a possibility of going through.
Yes, and that's what's going to be the difficult thing about it, Derek, because Young Boys know that if they come to Ibrox and win, they're through. So this is, as I say, we've been here before, haven't we? It's happened. We've been knocked out at this stage before, so we really have to be careful here. We need to go out, and I think, you know, is the draw is good enough for us, Derek? Is that right?
Yeah, if we win, we top the group when we're through. If we draw, we go at least second, depending on the result, but we're through anyway. There is a possibility if we lose the game, depending on the other result, we could still go through, because if we lose the game and Feyenoord win, then we go through, because Young Boys would be ahead of us.
Yes.
And Feyenoord would be on 8 points, but we've got a better head-to-head to them, and Porto would be on 7. If we lose and that other game's a draw, we beat Porto in the first game, did we not? So
that's right, yep.
So it's still that many permutations. It's still not a clear-cut thing, but ultimately it's clear. If we draw or we win, we're through. So we've got to look at it that way. But as you said, no counting chickens yet.
No, definitely not. But just look at it. To take it into perspective, Derek, this time last year, we were knocked out of the League Cup, so we never had a cup final to look forward to. I think we were quite a few points behind Celtic at this stage. We still had a chance to go through in the Europa League, but we certainly weren't in the position that we're in at the moment. So we do need to, you know, try and get our feet back on the ground. Last night was a bitterly disappointing result just because of what we've said, but we are still in the hunt for everything, Derek, and still, you know, I have got no doubts about it, Derek, that Celtic's bubble will burst. They've won, I think, 10 games in a row or something like that. Their bubble's going to burst. I thought it was going to be last night. By all accounts, now that I've seen their game, Celtic were very poor last night against a Hamilton team that, you know, at home, that you would have been expecting Celtic to absolutely annihilate. So their bubble will burst, Derek. We just have to hope that last game against Aberdeen, that has got our calamitous defending out of the way, and it'll not happen again. That's what we've got to hope. Because if we sort the defence out, Derek, we've got nothing to worry about. Because with the likes of Morelos and Kent up there, we are always going to get chances to score goals. And the way that they're playing as well, they'll score them. So I'm not worried about that, touchwood. That's going to happen. It's more the defence that I'm worried about, and I'm really worried about Barisic at the moment. I really hope that was just a precaution, and he's only going to be out last night, and he's going to be back fully fit for the remaining games, because we really need him.
Yep, absolutely, can't disagree with that. So the next games to come, we've obviously got the massive 2 games coming up here. Sunday the 8th of December, League Cup final against Celtic at Hampden. It's a 1500 kick-off. You don't need to really even say how important this game is, do you? But I fear, given the fact that the way our defence has been the last few games.
Derek, I think last night, and I would say I was positive in the fact last night, do you not feel with this game coming up on Sunday that the vast majority of the players had that in the back of their head last night? And I know that you shouldn't think like that, but it was quite clear to me in the second half that there were a lot of guys were not busting a gut in that game, certainly in the second half last night. And I think a lot of it's got to do with they've all got one eye on this game on Sunday. That game last night came at a bad time for us. The fact that Barisic was missing as well, that we've already seen, huge loss. But I was watching the players last night, and I thought, you know, these guys are thinking to themselves, oof, I didn't want to miss this game on Sunday. I didn't want to get injured. I didn't want to get booked. I didn't want, I didn't want anything to, make it so that I'm going to miss this game. That's honestly what I think, and it shouldn't be like that because they're professional players. But I think everybody talking about this game coming up on Sunday, this is, the biggest game that we've had in many a year. it's the first chance for some real silverware. We've missed out on it the last few seasons. I think that this has been playing on the players' minds, and if that's the case, I'm hoping that they're going to be completely prepared and up for it on Sunday. And they just have to hope and pray that Barisic is fit, because without him, I think we'll really struggle.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult either way, but we need to be on our game there. Next game after that is another obviously vital one, which is Thursday the 12th of December at home to Young Boys in the Europa League Game 6. So as we just discussed, it's a case of win or draw, or hopefully not lose.
Exactly. The European games, Derek, I don't think that we have been under a lot of pressure, to be honest with you, with the fact, expectation, because I think that we all, when the group was drawn, we were all like, oh, well, we've got no chance of getting through that group anyway, so just go out and, see what they do. So I'm not as worried about that game. I was feeling quite confident about the Celtic game up until last night, until I seen how bad we were defensively. So maybe that's a good thing, but we definitely need Barisic to play in both of those games, Derek, if we've got a chance of winning in the games, because he creates a hell of a lot for us. And I don't know, has there been anything said about the Barisic injury, Derek? Have you seen anything to say that it was just a niggle or anything at all?
I've not seen anything, no, so... As you said, hopefully it's just a precaution for last night, but it's a very big game to leave him out on, not just a precaution. So, but anyway, it's kind of obvious that we need him in the team regardless of what game it is, because the defence is in pieces. So, but anyway, Sunday the 15th of December, it's going to be away to Motherwell in the Premiership. That's a 1200 kick-off. That's
another huge game, because Motherwell are playing very well at the moment as well, Derek.
Yep, and then Friday the 20th of December, away to Hibs in the Premiership. That's a 19:45 kick-off. They seem to be coming back into a wee bit of form now that they've got their manager. So,
yeah.
As we keep saying, no game is going to be easy. Every games are going to be a cup final. Players need to get that through their thick heads that they need to be playing every single game. So, but anyway, we're now going to go into the classic match.
And then it is. The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
So, Dave, you have got a cup final victory to go over, haven't you?
Yes, I've got another one. Derek, in the last pod, I covered the significance of the 1986-87 League Cup final, where Graham Souness won his first piece of silverware for Rangers against Celtic, as the manager. So a few years before that, I've got another League Cup final. Of course, it was known as the Skol Cup back then, and Rangers also played Celtic in the final at Hampden on the 25th of March 1984. Rangers team, Derek, now even for myself, I was only 9 years old at this point, so there's only a few players. I've certainly heard of all these players, but I can't remember a lot of these players actually playing for Rangers, so it was good to sit and watch this game. It wasn't a classic, Derek, but the way that the game unfolded, it was a game that everyone from that era does remember. So Rangers in goals was the Girvan Lighthouse, Peter McCloy, Jimmy Nicholl, Ali Dawson, John McClelland, who was captain, Craig Patterson, Davy Cooper, Bobby Russell, Davy McPherson, John McDonald, Sandy Clark, a very young Ali McCoist up front. Celtic team that game, again, a team which I seem to know more about, just because the vast majority of these players were all international players. Pat Bonner, Danny McGrain, McAdam, Roy Aitken, Murdo McLeod, Tommy Burns, Davy Provan, Paul McStay, Reid, Frank McGarvey, Brian McClare for Celtic. So a lot of international players there. Celtic were heavy favourites for this game. The first half, though, was a bit of a dull affair, to be honest with you. It was the usual hard tackles, especially when the likes of Roy Aitken was in there. Some really bad, tackles and a lot of fouls given away, just trying to disrupt any flow of the game. Early chance for Celtic, Brian McClare with a header, which was well wide. It was a Danny McGrain cross into the box, but that was well wide, nothing to trouble the goalkeeper. 17th minute, Sandy Clark, though, on the ball to Ali McCoist in the edge of the box. He turns, hits a shot, but again, quite well over the bar. That was Rangers' first real chance of the match. A couple of minutes later, though, some brilliant play by Davy Cooper against it. Danny McGrain just, skips past him, sprints down to the byline, across into the box, almost onto the head of Sandy Clark, but cleared by the Celtic defence. Then on the 23rd minute, though, a penalty claim for Rangers. McAdam with a clumsy challenge on John McDonald inside the box. Certainly looked a penalty to me. Referee was having none of it. Waved off the protest. Jock Wallace, who was the manager of Rangers, going absolutely ballistic on the sidelines there. But then, just before half-time, it was actually Rangers who took the lead.
Russell's taking up good position. Stepping inside, Bonnie McLeod, and a penalty kick has been given. A penalty kick to Rangers. Right on the stroke of half-time. Referee Bob Valentine once again in the ideal position to assess that. We'll see it again from the replay. Cooper playing a good ball in towards Russell. The challenge came in from Murdo McLeod, and that looks a penalty kick to me. Now a great opportunity for Rangers. Robert Pritz is a regular kicker, he's not in the field, but Ali McCoist will take it. He scored once already this season out of one attempt. McCoist against Bonner. Perfectly stopped away by Ali McCoist, and Rangers take the lead.
Playing some short passes on the left-hand side of the box. The ball to Davy Cooper, who plays a fantastic ball to Russell in the box. Just sort of flicked it. He was looking as if he was going actually to cut back inside Cooper with the ball, but got the ball on his feet, were so quick, flicked the ball out onto the box, to the edge of the box on the left-hand side to Bobby Russell, and Murdo McLeod right through on him. Clumsy challenge, but Murdo McLeod, clear penalty to Rangers, and Ali McCoy steps up and scored low into the right-hand side to put Rangers 1-0 up at half-time. Into the second half, Celtic trying to out-muscle Rangers in midfield. They obviously clearly thought that was the way to get back into the game. Win the ball in midfield. Some really bad challenges again by Roy Aitken. How he wasn't yellow carded to this day, I've got no idea. It was all there. There was a couple of studs up challenges. There was, lots of pushing in the back, knees into the back of thighs, and everything that he could, Roy Aitken, to disrupt the Rangers midfield, and he was getting away with it. Great chance for Celtic though in the 52nd minute. Brian McClare, who was Celtic's main danger man, this was obviously before he signed for Manchester United, he raced through to the edge of the box. It thankfully shot straight at Peter McCloy and goals for Rangers. But then on the 61st minute, Rangers, who'd never really been in it in the second half, actually doubled their lead.
So 15 minutes of the second half gone. Is this the second for Rangers? Yes! Ali McCoist has done it. McCoist makes it 2-0 for Rangers. Jubilation on the Rangers dugout, and the debate goes on among the Celtic defenders. Well, Jock Wallace certainly a happy man in the Rangers dugout, and Celtic now have a mountain decline. Well, we'll see it again from the long ball from defence from McCoist through the middle. Aitken underneath it. Sandy Clark was there too. Aitken's in trouble here. Clark got the header. There was Ali McCoist, and Bonner couldn't keep it out.
It was a huge goal kick by Peter McCloy. My God, he just thumped it, and the wind, I think, took it, and it went right into the Celtic box. The ball bounced, and Roy Aitken made an absolute arse of the headed clearance, and the ball sort of bounces, and Sandy Clark wins the header and heads it down right into sort of no man's land between Pat Bonner and Ali McCoist, and thankfully McCoist was first to react, slides in, knocks the ball past Bonner, makes it 2-0 to Rangers. Absolutely fantastic, and everybody thought at that point that Rangers were going to hold out. It really was. But the funny thing about there was, again, I know, Derek, you're of the age that you can't really remember these guys, but Roy Aitken made a complete arse of the header there, the defensive header, and once Rangers scored, but you've seen Roy Aitken fucking turning around and going absolutely mental at Pat Bonner, as if to say, what the fuck are you doing, goalkeeper? And it was nothing to do with him, but he was obviously wanting somebody to blame. So, you know, Celtic at 6s and 7s, and Rangers really should have capitalised on that. Unfortunately, it didn't, because only sort of 5 minutes later...
Burns over the ball. McLeod is waiting. Brian McClair, the set piece brings Celtic back into the game. 22 minutes into the second half, with a goal right from the training ground from Brian McClair gives new life to Celtic.
Tommy Burns for Celtic, a running for his own halfway, runs right through about 3 or 4 Rangers players to the edge of the box, and he was scythed down. A pretty bad tackle by Rangers captain John McClelland right at the edge of the box. Everybody was expecting Murdo McLeod, who was their sort of set-piece expert at that point, to have a shot at goal, but he didn't. He'd actually just flicked the ball, dinked it right over the wall. Obviously, something they'd practice in training. Brian McClair was first to react. He prodded it into the net to make it 2-1. So nervy stuff for then. Celtic were in the ascendancy. Not long after that, 72nd minute, a long-range free kick by Murdo McLeod just over the bar. Rangers trying to get upfield. The one player that was doing anything for us, of course, was Davy Cooper, because when you've got him in your team, anything was possible. Down the left-hand side, cuts back onto his right foot, then back onto his left foot, out to Jimmy Nicholl, who puts a cross into the box, header by Sandy Clark, but straight at Pat Bonner. Great play by Rangers there, really unfortunate, unlucky I should say, they never scored. Then in the 83rd minute, great chance for Celtic. McClair played through by Paul McStay, but thankfully it shoots high and wide for the edge of the box, or that would have been. But then on the 89th minute, Celtic actually get back into the game, and it was through, you know, our undoing.
And they finished the first half in the same fashion as Rangers finished the second half, rather the same way, and the challenge coming into the back. The penalty kick has been given, and yes, drama again at the end of the second half. McCoist has been penalised. A penalty kick has been given, and Celtic now have the perfect opportunity to put this match into extra time. Let's look at this again. McGrain playing the ball across, head flick on, McLeod coming in, bundled by Ali McCoist, and that looked to be a penalty kick, just the same as the Rangers won at the end of the first half. So the referee Bob Valentine sorting things out. Mark Reid will take the kick. He scored 4 out of 4 this season so far. That makes it 5, and Celtic have tied it up at 2 apiece.
Danny McGrain with a cross to the right-hand side of the box. It was flicked onto Murdo McLeod. He was about to pull the trigger, but a clumsy challenge by all people in his own box at Ali McCoist. Don't know what he was doing, but a really, really poor tackle by McCoist. It was a clear penalty to Celtic, and Mark Reid stepped up for Celtic and made it 2-2 with a, you know, just about the 89th last minute of the game. They scored to make it 2-2. The game then finished and went on to extra time. Now, the first period of extra time was a very dull affair. There was both teams really were not wanting to make any kind of mistakes whatsoever. I think everybody at that point thought that it was going to be, you know, it was going to go on to penalties. But thankfully, just before the end of the first half of extra time, Rangers managed to get back to the lead.
That'll be a penalty, yes. Aiken penalised for that rash challenge on Ali McCoist, and I really think he can have no complaint at all. Played in by Nicholl. McCoist trying to control it and speed it, bundled away there by Roy Aiken. A clear foul, and the penalty kick has been given, and the protests on the part of the Celtic players certainly are muted. Aiken trying to make a point now, although it will cut no ice with referee Valentine. So Ali McCoist is now on a hat-trick. McCoist facing Pat Bonner with a kick which could win the League Cup for Rangers. They made it at the second attempt. Moment for Ali McCoist and for Rangers, but McCoist made it right on the half-time whistle in extra time. Well, Pat Bonner did well initially. You'll see this on the replay. McCoist didn't hit this one very hard. Didn't receive one at that time. A good save in the first instance. McCoist kept very cool indeed to knock home the rebound.
It was a throw into Rangers in the left back position, believe it or not, a way back left back position. A few sort of intricate passes in the middle, and the ball found its way out to Jimmy Nicholl on the right hand side. Nicholl, who bombed down. Nicholl was a fantastic right back for us at this point. Nicholl ran right down the right hand side and put in a cross just to the edge of the box, but inside the edge of the box, it was taken down by Ali McCoist. But there, Roy Aitken, right through McCoist, I don't know what he was thinking, absolutely chopped him down. As clear a penalty as you'll ever see. Referee had no option but to award the penalty kick to Rangers. And here was Ali McCoist's chance to score a hat-trick against Celtic. He puts the ball down on the box, runs up, hits it low, but hits it right in the middle of the box. Pat Bonner gets down and saves it, but thankfully, straight back to McCoist. He puts in the rebound. He gets his hat-trick. Rangers retake the lead 3-2 to Rangers at that point. So Celtic, their heads were down. They had put everything into getting back into this game. Rangers were back up. So into the game then finished the first half at extra time into the second. Both teams had a few chances. There was a corner for Rangers with Jimmy Nicholl, Dave McPherson with a header just over the bar. And then right at the end, Celtic with a free kick on the left-hand side. Fired in, but a great sort of dive and save right into the feet of the attackers by Peter McCloy, who grabbed the ball, been sort of thumped and barged about all game, McCloy, but managed to get on the end of that. Some brave goalkeeping, and Rangers held out to win the game 3-2 in extra time. So that was Rangers, the winners of the League Cup, the Old Skull Cup, back in 1984. So you get the chance, as always, please go back and look at it. This was just before my time of starting to watch Rangers, but it was great to go again, obviously see the likes of Davy Cooper playing, Jimmy Nicholl. There wasn't a lot of household names for Rangers back at that point, but it shows you, Derek, that when it comes to cup finals, when it comes to Rangers Celtic games, the form books go out the window altogether, and Rangers managed to win that one. So please have a wee look at that if you get the chance.
Yes, I'll be certainly hoping. I think we'll all be hoping for a similar result, even if it does go into extra time on Sunday. I
think the last classic match I did, Derek, that's the one that more significance for me when it comes to this game coming up, with the fact that it was Souness's first piece of silverware, him coming up for Liverpool and stuff like that. That was the game with the sort of more connections for me. But either way, I would take any one of those results right now, Derek, if it meant us winning the cup. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there.
Yes. So we'll go now into the news. So there's only really a couple of main stories to talk about, and they're quite lengthy ones. Obviously, we've had the AGM, and the big news from that is Dave King will be stepping down as chairman. He's keeping his shares and staying involved until the Sports Direct issue is solved. In a lengthy 30-minute speech, and he got really emotional, and he got a standing ovation as well. He's satisfied with the losses as it was kind of planned. He said it hasn't been an enjoyable experience, but he'd done it out of his duty, and he felt he had to do it. I think what's the came from it is, I think we owe this man more than we can really appreciate just now. I don't think we would have had a club if it wasn't for him, for largely him anyway. And if we did, it would have been unrecognisable. We would be like Newcastle just now, in a place where owned by a bunch of crooks, basically, and I won't mince my words with that. They came in and they tried to strip the club bare, and basically self-serving, and we're still obviously in the middle of that with the Sports Direct. The whole thing with this whole Sports Direct was ultimately down to where we are just now, was down to Dave King and his complete tenacity on trying to rid Mike Ashley of the club, trying to get Mike Ashley out the club and get his claws out of us. If it wasn't for Dave King, I don't think hardly any of what has transpired would have happened, and we would still be under the control of Sports Direct and Mike Ashley just now.
Definitely, Derek. I mean, as you say, we are indebted to this man completely. He was the only one that sort of stepped in. He knew what was happening to the club. it was going to be, we were getting dragged further and further down. As you say, that the people that were coming in and were getting involved in the club should never have been anywhere near our club in the first place. And he stepped up, Derek, and, it's... we still haven't been, successful on the field since that's happened, but we are now competing and we're getting back to the way that, we wanted the club to be at. I think he was instrumental in getting Steven Gerrard here as well. And just the fact that he's got the club back, to where it is something that we won't forget. I think I was more comforted by his words that, but basically forget about what everybody else is saying, forget about what's being portrayed in the media. This is all going to the way that that they had planned it, especially with the finances. They knew that this was going to happen, and the club is now in a much more stable foot now, after everything that's happened, than, even close to, the way that it was when he came in. So, he's done a fantastic job, and the fans will always be grateful to him.
Yep. I mean, there's obviously been some missteps along the way. Given the state of the club, you can understand why there's been a few missteps. It's been mainly footballing missteps, so you can argue what he's done in terms of, the takeover panel, but it's quite clear that he was always protecting the club in that respect, and he's taken on, personal debts. He's taken on personal hardships in terms of he is, going to be banned from dealing with UK companies. He and none of us know how his personal businesses might take a turn over the next 4 years. He might have dealings with, might have had dealings with UK companies for all we know. But, obviously he can't because of that. So, the man will, I would like to think, if everything goes to plan, there'll be a statue, for him at some point. But we'll see how it goes anyway. But he did also state that there'll be a share issue coming in the next season. He's outlined the fact that it was basically in terms of the maintenance of Auchenhowie and Ibrox had to be done, and now it's basically improvement. There's going to be plans for a stadium expansion, depending on how that goes. Obviously he's highlighted the fact that we've spent £30 million on the team alone in the last 3 years, and it's been also costly getting rid of managers as well. One interesting thing, he said the holding company will now be integrated into the football club in the coming year as well, which is obviously a good thing in terms of the shares and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Summing up the rest of the AGM, all the other resolutions were passed as well, which was good to see. So all the other directors back on.
But Derek, the main thing though, did that guy get his cup final ticket?
Yes, I know. I mean, there is always one every single year where they just ask an absolute fucking stupid, nonsensical question.
Oh dear, I couldn't quite believe it. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. Fair play to the boy, Derek. He's obviously desperate to go. So, but really, there's a time and a place, isn't there? And that certainly wasn't it. So, I was quite intrigued, Derek, when you were talking about the fact that there is going to be another share issue here. I think a lot of people seem to think that this company from Hong Kong is going to be heavily involved in that, and this is where a lot or a big chunk of future investment is coming from. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. That's certainly the strong rumour that's been going about. So here's hoping that all goes to plan. But I'm sure with Dave King, he's got every eventuality thought of, which is excellent. So some promising signs there, Derek. It's certainly been an AGM that has been more promising than the ones that we've had previously. And certainly, everything that he outlined, it does show exactly, where the money had to be spent and how much money has been spent, and the reason that we are still at a loss. But again, I'm a hell of a lot happier now than I have been in a very long time. So,
yeah, absolutely. Just on the AGMs there, all our EGM was about us. It's good to see that Celtic still go to form where a lot of part of their EGM was about us as well.
Yes, it was. Yep, that gave me a wee chuckle as well. and it certainly gave me an even bigger chuckle when I see all the hard work that some of the deluded, obsessed fans have gone to with this Resolution 12, and basically their club have told them to fucking forget it and stop annoying them, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. So there you go. Get it right fucking up, you obsessed fucking rats. That's all I can say.
Can we hold a minute's silence for Resolution 12, please?
No, we can't. Fuck them.
So, just you mentioned the Hong Kong investment there. It's been announced that DCP Capital has been announced as the first ever principal and front shirts partner for the women's team for the start of the 2020 season, which starts in February next year. And it turns out that Julian Wolhard, our director and investor, is the CEO of them as well. So
excellent.
So that's maybe a precursor to what may come. We just need to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it's certainly been the rumour, Derek. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Also, as well, just you noticed you mentioned the guy who asked that stupid question in the AGM about ticket allocations and stuff like that. I don't understand fans thinking. Fans need to get it through their head that the demand will always be greater than the supply with our fan base. That's what happens when you have a fan base running millions worldwide. There is going to be a lot more demand than there is supply. There is literally, I mean, if somebody can come up with a fair way of doing it, then they can do it. It's not fair, and I've mentioned this before. Yes, the fans that go home and away, they deserve some sort of loyalty and things like that, and they do. When they buy the season tickets, they get first dibs on European and away tickets and all that kind of thing. But me and you would both love to have both the time and money to go to games home and away every single week, but we've got other commitments, family, home, other monetary commitments.
Situations change, Derek. That was me, 20 years ago. I was single, I didn't have any kids, and basically any time that I had any holidays or annual leave at my work, it was taken to go to the football. These things don't happen anymore. So now me and you're in the same boat. We've got to we've got to be satisfied with the 3 or 4 games, 5 games that we get to every year. That's just the way life is. My hope is that now my laddies getting older, that we'll be able to start going to a lot more games together. That's what my hope is. But I'm sure everybody else is the same. But the big difference now, Derek, as well, that you've got to think about is 20 years ago, Derek, we were guaranteed to get into a cup final every year. Let's be honest, we're almost guaranteed, and I'm not being big-headed, but we were. We were always either the winners of a cup or the finalists of a cup. It's different now. And the fact that we've been starved of success for a long time through everything that's happened to us, every single Rangers fan in the world wants a ticket for this cup final. Me included, you included. I've tried lots of different folk that I've known that had a chance to get tickets. Guys who go to every game home and away, that get tickets for, even strange Scottish Cup ties away up the north of Scotland, guys that get tickets for Pittodrie, guys that get tickets for everywhere. None of these guys have got tickets. Guys who are more deserving to go to the cup final than I am, because they do go week in, week out. They go to European games, they go to everything. These guys can't get hold of tickets for love nor money. That's just because of the situation that we're in. Everybody wants a ticket for this game, Derek. And that's the reason. Whereas before, years ago, we were saying, oh, well, we've maybe, I'm not getting to the cup final, but, we'll probably be in the Scottish Cup final, or, we'll be in the League Cup final next year. And there are going to be tens of thousands of us who would normally, I've had a good chance at getting a ticket. I'll not get a sniff at it. That's the way it goes. Hopefully, from now on, we are going to be in the cup finals, and get a chance of winning these things, so that everybody will get a chance to go and get tickets. But this game in particular, Derek, these tickets are like absolute gold dust.
Yeah, I mean, there's no easy solution to it, as people need to be understanding that, not everybody's going to get a ticket. It's just pure, as I said, purely supply and demand. So,
yep.
But anyway, the next story we've got here is obviously a major one as well, which really kind of doesn't, hold much. It doesn't affect the club so much now, but the Times a few weeks ago released a story stating that HMRC are set to wipe £50 million tax bill off the EBT bill that they gave us. It comes from papers released in June or July of this year, which I don't know, they've been in the public domain. I think there's only been really looked at by an investigative journalist until now, and it involves BDO fighting their case against HMRC. HMRC claims to try and obviously limit and get more money back for the creditors. HMRC have always claimed that their fee was due to was round about £70 million odd, which was involving penalties levied against us plus the total amount paid into EBTs, rather than just the tax due on them. I always said I didn't understand where this money was coming to, because it was something like £50 million we put into the EBT pot. Then it only should be the tax that was due on that, which it transpires that it was only around about £2 million a year tax. That would have been. So over the course of the 10 years or whatever it was we used them, it would work out to £2 million a year. So basically that has been then more or less agreed that it should have been just that, and they've also admitted that they cannot impose the £24 million in penalties to us because there's no legal way to prove that any wrongdoing had occurred. So basically that's wiping out over £50 million worth of debt to them.
Derek, am I right in saying at the time that this all came out that David Murray had went to HMRC and he was, said that he was willing to pay a big chunk of what was supposed to be owed? It was nowhere near what was that they said was owed. But the amount of money that he offered at the time, now looking at what we should have been charged, would have more than covered what that was at the time. Am I right in thinking that? Because I could see there's been so much stuff has came and went since then, but that is what I was reading the other day, or if it wasn't going to cover it, it was certainly going to cover a huge majority of it, which would have meant in hindsight that we would never have been put in this position in the first place. Is that your understanding of it?
Much like Arsenal went to HMRC because I think they had the exact same thing. HMRC allowed them to settle. Rangers, apparently, from what I can gather on this and what the other podcasts and documents I've seen have said, Rangers offered round about £14 million. David Murray did, to clear it. Now, bearing in mind, this was what the whole big tax case going through the Supreme Courts were all about. It was a legal loophole to avoid paying tax, and the issue was not with the legalities of using EBTs. EBTs have always been legal, they still are. It's the argument that HMRC had was you should have been paying tax on them. We argued that you shouldn't have been. Now, we tried to settle that. They refused because they wanted to make a point and use that as a test case. Now, look at it this way: they've made an error. This error has basically had the snowball effect of making the club toxic, and no proper buyer could be found.
Exactly.
The club would have not really had to downsize if it hadn't been because of this. Yes, there would have been downsizing because of the debts racked up during the Advocaat years.
But we were downsizing at a fair rate regardless and still being successful on the park at that point, Derek. We downsized hugely.
Yes.
And we were still being successful. That was what we were all delighted about at the time.
Yeah. So this is where the snowball keeps going here. So the club was toxic, couldn't get sold to a reputable buyer, so it was sold to a crook, basically, Craig White. If it had not been sold to Craig White, then the wee tax case would have never happened, which ultimately put us into admin. If no admin, then no CVA would have been refused by HMRC, because they were effectively the large creditors in this case as well, because of the large tax case bill, which is non-existent now, or more or less. That wouldn't have led to us being a new co, wouldn't have led to the demotion, wouldn't have led to the 5-way agreement, which would have meant which led to no European football, and then ultimately no redundancies as well with the club. King has stated that the club has no recourse over this because it's a new company, but Old Co, who are not yet liquidated, and don't let any fucking moonhowler make you think that they're liquidated. That's what BDO are in the process of doing now. But BDO might have recourse on it, as does individual shareholders, which King said he may look into it. And also it turns out that individual players who benefited from the EBTs no longer have this case looming over them because there's no longer that big bill. So the bottom line here is, taking out the football side of it, taking out the emotion because it's our club it's happened to, put it in terms of HMRC versus a company. A mistake by HMRC has led to an insolvency event of a company, which has led to redundancies, it's led to loss of revenue, loss of reputation, and also as well, the money spent by HMRC was well in excess what they were, basically the money spent by HMRC fighting this through the courts they've spent well in excess of what they were going to get back even before this. So, this is ultimately, you're getting into the realms of, this is where a public inquiry needs to happen now because of what HMRC have done. HMRC then have, during the day when this story broke, stated that we don't talk about individual cases. Then their press Twitter at 10 past 11 at night sent out a fucking shockingly worded tweet talking directly about the case and saying that the whole story at the Times is incorrect and, oh well, fuck it anyway because we won the Supreme Court case.
Yeah.
So there. Then their chief reiterated the same thing again in another poorly worded letter addressed to them, addressed to the reporter of the Times. For a start, they're going against their own policy here. 2, it's fucking incredibly unprofessional. And 3, nobody's disputing they won the Supreme Court case, but that's an entirely different matter.
Yep.
What's getting argued here? So it's then led to the SNP MSP John Mason lodged a motion in Parliament arguing for public trust in HMRC over the whole issue. Funny that he won't table a motion to investigations into his own club that he supports in relation to child abuse. Fucking scumbag.
It's incredible, Derek. We all kind of knew throughout this that something would come out showing that there had been complete incompetence by somebody, on somebody's part. And it turns out that the complete incompetence has been on HMRC. This whole thing could have been avoided. I think that's that's the worst thing for me. I don't know what the course of action is going to be now, Derek. I do trust Dave King. Is going to do everything in his power to try and, get some sort of action taken. I don't know if the old company, which is, as you quite rightly said, has not been liquidated, if that's going to play some part in this. There's any way that, the shares in the old company can be merged or whatever so that it does make it all relative. I honestly don't know. I'm not an expert in these things. I know there's about fucking 200,000 folk wearing green and white that are all experts that would be able to tell us about it and all that, but I certainly am not. But the whole thing could have been avoided, Derek. That is the worst thing for me. It has put us all through so much turmoil, still putting the club through turmoil, and the amount of revenue that we've lost and trophies that we could have won, players that we could have had in that time it's absolutely shocking, Derek. And I really hope that there is some sort of justice for us here. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. I've not heard much since then. I don't know what your thoughts are and what the club can do now. Or say, I know that you're saying because of the new company there's no much that they can do, but I don't know if there's anything with the old company tying in with the new company that anything can be brought here. But a public inquiry is certainly, something that we all want, because we want to see something happen here. We want somebody, we want heads to roll somewhere. Because we've been through enough. We really have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the Sports Direct thing, this is something that's going to take years. We all know how long it's taken to get the big tax case and, finally through the Supreme Court. So this has got a long way to roll yet. And, I doubt that, we're as a club are going to, see much anything in terms of monetary compensation or anything, but we'll just need to wait and see. Last couple of pieces of news here I've got is Rangers under-19s are through to the third round of the UEFA League. UEFA Youth League after winning 4-1 on aggregate against Slovan Bratislava. So outstanding.
Fantastic. Yes, absolutely tremendous. Yep.
And the last piece of football news here I've got is Jordan Rossiter's season. Do you remember him? His season is over after suffering knee ligament damage while on loan at Fleetwood Town.
Right.
His contract won't be renewed by us, but Joey Barton has hinted that he may keep him on at Fleetwood Town. So, really sad to see that, but I just don't think his body's up to being a footballer, is it?
Doomed for the beginning, Derek. A guy with all the promise we knew about that, certainly in the very few occasions we saw him fit. He was a fantastic player. I mean, he really was. He looked a class act, but as you say, his body's just no up for it. I don't know what it is. He's tried to go down. Apparently played very well in the sort of... he had a season that he played, I think, about three quarters of it for Fleetwood, and apparently he was excellent again for them. But, he's either extremely unlucky or, as you say, his body just can't take it. I don't know, but we just have to wish the guy all the best and thank him for the very few games that he did have for us.
Yep. So, man hospitalised after using hair removal cream on groin before date.
Right, go.
A man has been hospitalised after using hair remover cream in a delicate area after giving himself chemical burns. William Bishop, 26, was getting himself ready for a first date with a woman he had met on a night out, and in a bid to tidy up things downstairs, he decided to use the hair removal cream. That was awfully optimistic of him, wasn't it, in his first date?
Oh dear. He maybe met her on blooming... what's the name of that app that all the young shaggers all use? Obviously, I didn't fucking use it, but maybe it was maybe agreed before he met Derek. You don't know.
Maybe. William admits that he not only used the Veet product designed for body and legs rather than his groin area, and he also used it for double the recommended time. 2 days later, he was left with large blistering open wounds, prompting William to ship himself to A&E for treatment.
Shit. Syrian, right, okay.
Doctors had to repeatedly burst the blisters.
Oh, Syrian.
He's now been in hospital for a fortnight, but faces another 3 weeks for being treated there.
Holy shit.
Jesus, oh man. There's pictures.
Oh, have you got pictures yet?
I have, I was getting ready for a date that night, so decided to get prepared, just in case anything good happened. It wasn't the first time I was going to use Veet though. He had used the product around 6 months earlier and it was absolutely fine. So I applied the hair removal cream to my lower half, left it for around 10 minutes and felt sore when I took it off. Potentially I left it on longer than I should have when I was applying to a larger area. I didn't think much of the stinging to start with, but it got increasingly worse, and it wasn't until 2 days later that I saw it burned a hole in my crotch.
Oh dear. No luck.
A spokesperson for the company that makes Veet has said, "We are sorry to hear of the reaction a customer had to Veet hair removal cream. We wish the gentleman a speedy recovery as soon as possible."
Fair enough.
As for William's date, it's okay. He didn't stand them up. He just told them he had an accident and that he'd have to postpone their get-together for at least 3 more weeks.
Right.
Oh well.
He'll tell her that he had an ingrown toenail or something like that.
No, after it's been on this website, knowing she might read
true,
it.
Aye. Maybe not.
So, on that note, that ends our very lengthy podcast for this week.
Yes. Aye, but I'm hoping that everyone bears with us when it sees the length of the podcast, but we have had a lot to talk about, not just football, so hopefully we'll be back next week and it'll be just covering the 2 very important games that we've got coming up. Yes,
so as ever, if you want to check out our website, if you go to ireadypodcast.wordpress.com, and there you can find all the links to the social media pages we've got as well. So Dave, all I can say is thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks for listening, and fingers crossed for the two big games coming up. Take care, folks.
Bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.